Hello guys, welcome to another Path of Exile video. Today we're going to be sharing a new build idea I got coming up for the 0.50 update. There's some interesting mechanics that we can use with spears here. I wanted to show you what kind of build I've built for you, see if you like it, maybe you can try it out yourself, etc. So let's just go ahead and go through this and let me explain everything, my thoughts behind how this build works, and we'll see how good it is. So first we have this spear. It's called Scytha's Spear. Any aggravated bleeding with this weapon also ignites on all targets. So the goal here with this build is to make a exploding spear build that also aggravates our ignites and just buff the heck out of our ignites. I also got Cackle Creep Ruby Ring on here, which increases our fire damage, and our ignites will spread to other enemies if they stand within each other for 1 second. We got the classic Warrior Invictus here just because it has really good defenses, it's well balanced, and it helps cover some of the things that we're lacking with this build. Right here we got the Venopuncture Iron Ring, which adds a lot of flat physical, which we need for fire conversion. All damage from hits taken while bleeding contributes to magnitude of chill on yourself, so that's one of the dangers of this build, but we can mitigate that with a thawing charm and maybe some more, cold resist if you really need it. Right here we have the Idol of Urdurn. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but basically we got it twice corrupted for +1 to max elemental resistances, and I'll explain why in a second. But this gives us +1 to skill limits, and for this particular build setup, I'll explain why that is so good, but essentially it lets us place more exploding spears on the ground at the same time, and then they can all chain together and explode. So this build is good because it does not rely on frenzy charges. Frenzy charges are nice, but sometimes they're just hard to get consistently. So I try to make a build that kind of gets around that. So this is one of the attempts to bypass that. Right here we have the Birth of Fury, Stone Greaves, which also ties into a passive tree node we have on the tree. For fire damage, it leaves dropped ignited ground while moving. It gives us move speed. It gives us more fire resist. The fire resist is kind of moot at this point, but it is nice. Next up, we just have a classic belt. Put whatever resist aside from fire on there. You're going to need cold and lightning because most of your gear has fire resist. So just use the belt, whatever you need to shore up your defenses. We have the Candlemaker Somber Gloves. Also, once again, it increases fire damage. And our flammability magnitude is doubled. So that means we're going to pretty much instantly ignite almost all enemies, and even bosses should get ignited really fast because of these gloves. So very good for fire builds, always recommend. And we got the Rise of the Phoenix Omen Crest Shield. This gives us more fire resist. We regenerate 3% of our max life per second, which if you ever looked at the passive tree, trying to get life regen is really hard. Most of the time it's only like fraction of a percent. So this just gives us 3 all by itself. And currently I am on a Oracle, but with this build, I don't have a Warrior right now, but ideally you'd go Titan, and I'll explain that in a second here when we look at the passive tree. Alright, so let's check out the passive tree just to kind of show you what we're going for. And I'm not actually max level, so I can't show you everything here, but we can drag over our path of building. This is ideally what you'd want to go for, everything on the tree. We're hitting all the major fire nodes. And let me explain why we have so much fire resist. To get more damage, you want to go up to this part on the tree. It's straight over once you come out of the warrior section. You gain 5% of your damage as extra fire. 5% of physical is taken as fire. That'll help you with some negation to physical damage. Ignites you cause are reflected back to you, but you get reduced magnitude of ignite. So this is just to help, and you'll see why. We take Molten Carapace as well. You get 50% increased fire damage while ignited. You get plus 2% to maximum fire resist. So although our ignites are getting reflected back, the magnitude is going to be reduced so much that it's not going to matter. It's going to be like a little tickle. And that 3% regen per second is going to heal right through that fire damage. So we're not worried about fire damage. And also up here, we get more reduced magnitude of fire damage. Right here, 15% reduced, another 40% reduced. We have 81 max fire res. And pretty much the rest of these nodes are just, you gain part of your physical damage as fire, increased damage with hits against burning enemies. And you'll notice here, these actually have increased from their base. And we're getting that from the Titan Warrior, this node right here, 50% increased effective small passive skills. So all of our small passive skills are buffed. And then we'll get into the next part, which is reduced skill duration. That's what we wanted to get around the fact of needing frenzy charges for everything, just to make your spears instantly explode. Since we got the buffed small passive skills, each one of these nodes is going to give us 40% reduced. So this area gives us 40% reduced skill duration. And then you go up here and you get another 40%. And also gives us cooldown recovery rate, which is awesome. So if we look at our explosive spear, this is what I have on it. We have Overabundance 2. This is going to help us with the spear limit. So now we can have 4 spears on the ground at once. And I'll show you here in a second, just to prove it to you. But the key thing here is we get 40% less skill effect duration, which is a multiplicative modifier to our skill duration. So we have 80% reduced skill duration, and now we have 40% less. And then you take compressed duration, which is also another less. So now we're getting 75% less skill duration. And just to kind of show you the math here, plus the 80% reduced. So if we go over here, don't mind that. I'm just kicking some people's butts. Let's see here. Yep. So I just kind of typed in Google how much that would be. And according to the AI calculation, it's about 0.3 seconds. Now, we can't show the exact timing because the character I have right now is an oracle. So it's not exactly accurate. But this should work in theory. According to the math, it'll be 0.3 seconds. So you'll throw a spear, 1/3 of a second later, it'll blow up on its own versus the 2.5 seconds that it starts with. So just to show you what this actually looks like, you can throw spears. And what is that? It's kind of hard to tell. 1.5 seconds right now. And that's without the boosted effects of your small passive nodes. Another cool thing here too, so you can see here we can throw 4, 3, 4. If you throw them in a line, so 1, 2, 3, 4, they'll all chain explode. Maybe I'll do it over here again just so you can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. All explode in a line. Now this, I don't know if that interaction will change because the delay right now just happens to be perfectly timed. So by the time you throw the 4th one, the first one starts exploding. So pretty much you can do this endlessly on the Oracle. By the time you throw your 4th spear, which is the limit, you can throw another one and it won't matter. So you're never like making one of your spears disappear. So if you take off one of these +1 the limits, right? You take this off. Now I only have 3. And I just hold down the attack button. You'll see the first one disappeared. 2, 3. It deletes one of your spears. So having the perfect setup is essential so that you can continue attacking without pausing, and it won't matter because by the time you've thrown your 5th spear, the first one's already exploded. Which will be even better once we get to, once we do this on Titan instead of Oracle. So you see here we have fire attunements, we have elemental armament for more elemental attack damage, and we have magnified area. Magnified area, you could swap this out for something else to add more damage, but this just makes your explosions bigger, and since the delay is so small, you might as well, right? and the explosions being bigger means that they're more likely to chain together, because this skill is a detonator skill, and it can be detonated. So it can be detonated by itself by another spear. So having them close enough together with enough AoE means they'll still chain even if you didn't throw them right next to each other, which is kind of cool. Some other things we have on this build. We have some other options. You can use disengage, rake to apply more bleed. Rake is 100% guaranteed to bleed. You can, if you want to get frenzy charge, you can go for cold a week. I have blasphemy with temporal chains on here, and that is just so I can slow enemies down and focus on just throwing spears, because this is still kind of slow, right? And you want to have time to blow them up before they get on you and start whopping your booty. So I have the temporal chains just for that. And we also have time of need with compressed duration. This is actually getting changed. The duration tag is getting removed from time of need, but I'm pretty sure it's changing to a cooldown skill. So you're getting 10% from this node group up here for reduced duration. And then you're getting the gem that you can stock in them. And you can notice here, this is on Oracle, so we won't be getting all the life bonuses from Titan. But even on Oracle, we have 1,600 health and 2,000 energy shield with about, 54 armor. We have 16% evasion. We have 24% block. Yeah, so it's still, pretty good defenses. With this, you shouldn't get one shot. Let's actually show you what this looks like in a map. Let's do a swamp. Throw that in there. What do we got in here? Has a chance to contain shrines. That's fine. Okay, we'll do this map just to show you what it looks like in action. It feels pretty good so far. Obviously, this is only level 75, so it hasn't hit its peak potential yet. But yeah, you kind of just run along and throw your spears down and kite a little bit. I think this is going to be way better on Titan, but I don't have a Titan that is... I don't have a warrior that's this high level to actually test these abilities out on, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, how long is this boss gonna do this? Can you like sit, please? Sit down? He's like teleporting. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the damage isn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. Maybe I'm just tripping. Or we could forget about bleeding them, because it looks like we're not even bleeding them. There we go. Bleed. Definitely not optimized, but I kind of like the idea of it. You can go combat frenzy and then maybe do like pin to get charges. In addition to like these calling attacks. So we'll see, we'll see. But as far as defenses go, we are pretty good. I mean, level 7 for our waystone that we put in for the map. So it's not too bad. Oh, we can call him. There we go. But it's also not amazing. Maybe we have to switch out some of these. You could drop the fire damage by going Black Flame Ring, convert your fire damage to chaos, and then run, instead of temporal chains, you run despair in here to reduce their chaos resist. So maybe that's an option too. And honestly, the stats on this are pretty low. Oh yeah, that was another thing I was gonna get. If you look at here, these are the options. If you were the Val Cultivate Orb this, you can get up to 300 to 400% increased physical damage. So it is possible to buff this spear as well. And in the new system, we can use the Kalgurin rune forging after chapter 3 to upgrade this. And since this weapon is under level 55, we can upgrade the base damage. So this weapon could be really good too and viable in the patch 0.50. So it's a good thing to keep in mind. I can't say this build is completely optimized, but it's an idea, This whole process is kind of like an experimentation sort of deal. So, it's all right if it doesn't work out the first time. And I realized pretty quickly that just going for Ignite Magnitude isn't really the best way, because even if you have increased Ignite Magnitude, it's based off the hit damage. So if your hit damage isn't high enough to begin with, it's not going to do enough. And to be honest, burns are they're kind of meh right now. Oh, we could put short fuse on here. Okay, let's see. What does short fuse do for us? Okay, that's really fast now. Okay. This is spammable now. Okay, I like how this is looking. This is gonna be even faster though when we do this on Titan. So before it was we had to throw 4, and now by the time we're throwing the third one, it's already detonating. Interesting. I kind of wish you could have more projectiles in this, but it doesn't. Projectile count doesn't do anything for exploding spear. The damage is a little low right now, but we're missing half of our damage nodes. Just to show you what I mean, we have the lightning damage, that's fine. We need to go down here and get all these nodes. One-handed damage. There's also big damage here, increased attack damage, 50% increased attack damage, that's huge. So yeah, it seems like the best way to use this spear is with just flat physical. That way it converts the most of that damage into fire damage. And we might have to reconsider the being on fire increases your fire damage, because I don't know if this is really helping when we could just get more damage somewhere else and not light ourselves on fire. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, if you're not going that, you'd probably drop these and you get even more damage. I feel like I did a pretty good job of theory crafting the idea around this. And it's gonna be so cool to see like instant explosion explosive spears on the Titan instead. Because right now it's really fast. Like, look at that. There's that. About 1 second. So it's gonna be way shorter than that. Near instant explosions. And then when you have enough attack speed, you can just ramp up your attack speed, and it's just gonna be explosions everywhere. But anyways, yeah, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next content that I put out for you. See ya.